Hello there, welcome to the QMB Stars League preview show, all in English here on Alcas, as we look ahead to all 6 matches in Week 13. In the company of former English Premier League players Nick Savvy and Chris Makin. We've just come off an international break, and now, of course, there is less than 4 years to go until the 2022 FIFA World Cup here in Qatar. And things are looking good for the national team, because in this international break, Chris Makin, we've had positive results for the international team.
What were they? You won and drew, yeah? Yeah. You know what, I've just noticed a little bit of a difference around Qatar the last few days. I don't know whether it, the countdown was officially on now. It's 4 years ago, but looking at the televisions, the stadiums are looking absolutely immense. We just need the team to go with it, don't we?
We do. Listen,
they've had 2 promising results, like you say. Get those young players through. 4 years' time, as long as we, I'm talking about we, Qatar, can get through those group stages, will be a massive bonus.
Listen, Nick, it's a 1-0 win against Switzerland. It's a 2-2 draw against Iceland. These are proper teams. Switzerland, for example, have qualified for the Nations Cup or whatever it's called. These are big results.
It's massive, and it's great for us because we cover the league, and it's great to see the lads, especially like Afif, you have to say. He scored the win in the first game against Switzerland, and it's exciting. We're going in the right direction, and exactly what Chris said, there's a buzz around the place now. This is lift-off now, and these boys, they've got to be feeling the excitement as well. But those 2 results, everyone just looked round and said, hang on a minute, Qatar. So we're all going in the right direction, so very exciting times.
OK, well, lift-off back in the QMB Stars League now for Week 13. Let's show you how they line up for this week coming up, and the league standings after 12 weeks.
Going into Week 13, Al Dahel are 8 points clear at the top of the QMB Stars League. It's then very tight between Al Sadd, Al Saliya and Al Rayyan in the top 4. Al Ahli's 5-match unbeaten run has moved them up into 5th, and Al Gharrafa make up the top half of the table. In the bottom half, Salal are in 7th. Al Arabi have recovered 1 place to move up to 8th. Al Shahaniya and Qatar Sports Club remain outside of the relegation zone, whereas Al Khor and Al Khretiyat continue to face a big challenge. As for the fixtures, on Friday the 23rd of November, Qatar Sports Club are up against Al Ahli at 1600, and later on, Salal face Al Rayyan and Al Khretiyat face Al Shahaniya, both at 1830. On Saturday the 24th of November, for the early kickoff, Al Saliya meet Al Gharrafa and Al Khor meet Al Dahel. Later on, the Qatar derby between Al Arabi and Al Sadd kicks off at 1830 Doha time at the Grand Hamad Stadium.
Sharon Wadham, thank you very much for the information there. Our first match then, let's look at it, Qatar Sports Club against Al Ahli. OK, nothing to show particularly on Qatar Sports Club. Nick, I'm going to go to you first. What do we think now after the break? What will they have had a chance to do under Sergio Batista, their new head coach?
Well, they've got to work. They need a victory. Simple as that, really. From when he came, there was a bit of a high. All of a sudden, it doesn't seem to be working out. So they've had the time to work on the training pitch. But it's a difficult game against a side which is the informed side in the league. So it's a big call now. They need their luck to turn around, or otherwise they're going to get involved in the relegation battle. Yeah,
OK, let's have a look at who they're against. Al Ahli, Chris, this was a tremendous draw in Week 12, 1-1 against Al Rayyan.
Well, they are the team on form. I love watching them now. It reminds me of the old Al Ahli. Machella's done a fantastic job there. The players in your picture there, Abdel, Mutawali, Montari, very exciting strike force. Faridoon on the bench who can come on and score goals. And all of a sudden, at the start of the season, didn't look very productive going forward. Now they're scoring goals for fun, aren't they?
Yeah, Mutawali, of course, he's made a huge difference there. Nigel de Jong, you can see he's very much a driving force in helping move things along. Unbeaten in 6 matches now. That's some record. You and Nick, you take us through this. Pulled out Montari. We saw him there, but you want to see more from him again. You want to see him getting into the box a lot more.
Yeah, we covered some of the very experienced players. Etu a couple of weeks ago. In situations like this, I want him to make the wingers mind up, get into the box. He's that big. All you got to do is just hang it up for him. We talk about the World Cup in 4 years' time. This boy is in with a chance of playing. So you want that urgency. Just watch him. As a ball, you'll see him come into the picture in a minute. Get yourself in that box there. Get round that far post and shout for it and get the ball hung up there.
Make up the numbers.
Just make it, we just don't see that. He's a quality player. He's great. He's good on the floor. Exceptional in the air, though. But just situations like that, if all the top players can do that, like your Schneiders, like your Etus, all the players we've covered so far, if they can do that, you've got to do it as well.
Okay, one negative, and that is one of their key players, Benson, has picked up a serious knee injury. He's going to be out for a while, and that causes concern for their head coach, Milan Machala.
If you lose, okay, lose 3 points, but this is 6 months minimum. All season, John is outside. First, my reaction was, okay, I was thinking who can replace him, how he can play. And second is immediately bring local players. Try to find local players. This is our duty. If everybody hope that this club can hold this position up.
That's quite a challenge there ahead of them. Chris, what are you going to say?
He's going to need a local centre half then.
Yeah.
If Benson's out.
Okay, Qatar Sports Club, Al Ahly, Chris, what do you want to say there?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of local players coming through. So I'm not having that really. There's not a shortage. You go in the league below, the gas league. There are players coming through, getting to Aspire. There's a lot of players here.
Okay, right. You go first then. Qatar Sports Club, Al Ahly.
I'll go for 2-1 Al Ahly.
Okay, Chris.
3-1.
2.
Al Ahly.
All right. Okay. Next up is Salal versus Al Rayyan. Okay, before we start talking with Nick and Chris, I'm going to go straight to the man in charge here because Laurent Benide, the head coach, he's gone. There's a new man in the hot seat. Here he is.
I don't have deal. I have contract with Salal. I am assistant coach of the Salal. We don't change anything. We continue because I know the team, I know the player, and I think is the best way because in this time it's not easy to change. The player train well. I am happy to be in this club. I am happy to be with the player, and it's a normal situation for me.
He's got the right energy and he's upbeat. And another piece in the interview, and you were there. He said he just loves to coach, but he's got a task on his hand here.
But these coaches and managers.
Yeah,
that's the difference. Isn't it? You see so many number twos that can't do the managerial role. It's a big step up. It's totally different. When you're coaching, you're on the field with the players every single day of the week. When you're a manager, you're more or less overseeing it all.
Okay.
Do you know, if I could go off that there, I like it. I like the feel about him. I like his enthusiasm. So he deserves a chance and we wish him all the best, but he wants it. After that, at the end, I said, well, do you want the job? He went, yes. And that's good. That's nice to hear for starters. Grab hold of it. Take your opportunity.
Okay, so he's very positive, and he went on to say in his interview, and you were there, how he just loves to coach. But he's going to have to turn it around here now because Salal have gone down in the doldrums a bit.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being a coach and a manager. As a coach, you're on the field every day with the players, doing the same things every day. As a manager, you're more or less overseeing everything.
But I like his enthusiasm. I said to him at the end, do you want the job? He said, yes, I do want the job. Give him a chance. I think he's got a little bit of work to do. I think they've lost a little bit of belief. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's got on the training pitch there to what he can get out at the weekend.
Yeah, well, what's he going to get out of Al Rayyan? Because that's who they're up against. Good performance. Again, we see it again. This is Al Rayyan's goal against Ahly. Luca getting it, Nick, and this was promising.
Yes, it was, yeah. Wonderful delivery as well by Mufak. And what a header. And there is a big improvement, you've got to say, since Coach Jürgen's gone to the club. There's that belief there. I think maybe Sebastian might not be playing in the game. There's a lot of talk about that. But they've improved. It's good to see this boy Luca. I've been critical, but knowing how good he'll be eventually, and hopefully this gives his confidence a bit of a boost and he can start cracking on.
Who's this new player that's not fit? I mean, Sebastian's out the weekend. Who's the? Yeah. We had Luca went into the football club. Who's the other player?
A good point that I've got a piece of paper in
he's
my
still
pocket.
Not fit.
No, he's not. Menendez. Jonathan Menendez. Yeah, I know.
It's an ideal situation for him to go in this weekend.
And that situation is not totally clear, as is Sebastian, as you said. They talked about that. Maybe they tested him today, tomorrow. We'll wait and see. One other key player, courtesy of Stats, they've given us this information. Ahmed Maksoud, he's made the most counter-attack regains this season. 1.73 per game. So I thought on this occasion, because the boys questioned me, what does that mean? Well, they are successful tackles that lead to counter-attacks by the player's team. Does that help you?
Why don't you just call it a tackle?
Because it's not just a tackle, it also then
But if you
leads to a
tackle-
counter-attack.
But if you...
No, because the tackle could just be a tackle. It goes in, it goes out of play, or it goes to the other team.
Yeah, but you know what? He's not been in the team a lot this season.
Yep.
But I tell you what, he was fantastic in the last couple of games. What we saw,
That's
back
what you
to
put
his
him in,
best,
yeah.
brilliant by the way, and it works because they're a lot more defensive now. You can see that they've worked on that, and he's perfect in midfield there for when they go forward, and that doesn't surprise me at all. And it's great to see that.
What about if he wins the ball further up the pitch? Can't be a counter attack then, can it?
What's that other word you
Pull
said?
your things apart this year.
Listen, I just pulled up.
What's that other one? What you said, the last one? That we've forgotten about it, but we need to bring it back.
Oh, maintenance possession.
Maintenance possession.
Don't worry, I haven't got any maintenance possession for you today. Don't
okay.
you worry about that. That's for another day. Let's get rid of Ahmed Massoud then. We've seen that contribution he makes. As you said, you saw he made a difference. You and Chris picked out as well, and this will be interesting how Salal coped with this. This is what Al Rayyan did in midfield. This pressure they put on him, and this stopped Chris. This stopped Al Ahly getting out.
It was a wonderful game plan, and it worked to a T for an hour of the game, 70 minutes, and they're just encouraging Al Ahly to play straight balls into midfield. As soon as he did that, they just pounced on him in midfield, and time again they won it in midfield, and were on the counter attack, as you like to say, Rod. Even though they're in their half.
Yeah, but do you know what? I don't know why a lot of teams can't set up like this, because everybody wants to play out from the back. So if you work it well, and all of a sudden then push into midfield and everyone goes together, there's no reason why everyone else can't do it, and they struggle with it, by the way.
Especially as you highlight, a lot of them aren't comfortable playing out at the back. So if you're suddenly not a team that's comfortable and they're under pressure that early on, it's going to go against you. Of course it is.
I mean, the great thing about this is you set up behind the ball, and you're only working out for 2 or 3 yards, Rod, because you're just going sharp and getting into someone's face. It's a great ploy.
It was just relentless, wasn't it, in this game? And
Yeah.
In the end, it finished 1-1. Full credit to Al Ahly for actually changing things in the second half and actually getting into the game a bit more.
I think Coach Jürgen, I think he's got a plan there. I think once he can start doing a little bit of business and bringing his players in, I think he can get them up there title contenders. I really do. I think it's a case of watch this space.
Title contenders,
Christopher.
what will he think? Well, that's kind of not what their assistant head coach, Gilson de Souza, thinks.
When we start, we play to be a champion. But now I think the possibilities is hard. It's very hard because the whole team and side team, they have a good advantage. But we are there in the target now. The target is stay between the 4 teams. And Rayyan is there, looking like we are now. I think is okay.
There we go. 4th position. There's not much really between them, is there? Second, third, and 4th is just.
I would have
1
said
point.
Al Rayyan were title contenders going into this next 4 games if they would have won that game, because they should have won that game against Al Ahly.
Yeah.
Couldn't hold on though.
So Salal, Al Rayyan?
I've got to go with Rayyan, 2-0.
Okay, Nick?
No Sebastian, 2-1, Salal.
Okay. Next up is Al Kharatiat versus Al Shahaniya. Okay, let's just show you the consolation goal from Al Kharatiat in week 12. It was a total hammering. Nick, in your own words, you've never seen such a one-sided game in the QMB Stars League.
I don't think I've ever seen it anywhere. It was a disaster, absolute disaster, all over the place. Felt sorry for the manager that came in, but you can't feel sorry for yourself at the moment. It's about them somehow or other getting together and trying to get a performance. I tell you something, for me, it's at the moment to say it's doomed. It really is. It has to be a big turnaround.
But the break came at a good time. I tell you what you do with that. If they win this game, that is forgotten about. This is a massive game for Kharatiat. They've got to win this game, haven't they?
They're up against Al Shahaniya. Let's have a look what they did in week 12. Wasn't too good. I mean, they've been going quite well. Unfortunately, they were up against the league leaders, the champions, 5-1. They lost. That was just the only consolation goal for them.
Yeah, but they've come a long way, This is how far they've come. That all of a sudden, De Gea had to lift their game a little bit, because if you're going against Shahaniya, you can get yourself in trouble. I don't worry about them at all. They're a different shinier than what we saw, which got relegated. So they're full of confidence. This is for them, by the way, a big 3 points to get them even further away from the relegation.
And what is the difference between the old Shahani and the new Shahani? That's the question you put to their very experienced defender stroke midfielder, Alvaro.
We try to keep always the same spirit, but as you say, all the year is different. We have a new coach working with us for 2 years. You know, the coaches always give the touch for the team. And as a family that we are in Sahania, we try to be always in the same way, work in the same way. We know that we are one of the smallest teams in the league, but maybe the difference that you are feeling is because of the coach, the touch of the coach, and hopefully with this difference we can stay in first division that we are.
So Alvaro is hopeful. Nick, Al Khartiat versus Al Shahania.
Shahani, I'll tell you what's a tricky one, a draw. I'll go for a draw, 1-1.
Right, okay.
1-0 Shahania.
1-0 Shahania. Okay, next up it's Al Salia versus Al Gharafa. I think we can still say it's going well at Al Salia. Let's remind ourselves what happened in week 12 there. It was a 2-0 win against Salal. That saw the end of Laurent Benitez's reign with Salal. But nevertheless, who was there? Abdul Qadir once again.
I mean, that's the type of position you want. The likes of Abdul Qadir and Muntari at the far post all coming in. A little bit of height on the cross, it's wonderful. Fahad's done well since joining the club. And Al Salia have a great chance of attaining success by their recent standards, haven't they? If they can get in the top 4 or top 3, it would be fantastic.
That's the aim. Unfortunately, they have some worries. Well, their head coach, Sami Trabelsi, certainly does.
I'm not happy with what I said. The stop for the league. It's not normal. You see the number of injury for the players. I see in Sad, I see in Rayan. There is a lot of players. We stop for 2 or 3 weeks. After we start, 4 or 5 games in period for 15 days or maybe 19 days, and we play so hard 5 games in every 3 or every 4 days, and after we stop, and after we, it's not good, I think, for football. It's not good thing for player. We see a big number of injury in every team. Alhamdulillah, for us we don't have this problem, but there is a big problem.
He's certainly got a point, Nick.
Very, very interesting point as well. And you do have to look at it, and you will see this weekend there's a lot of big names out of it. One of the biggest one obviously is Namti. You know, he's out for a long time, and we talk about Benson. Maybe there's some truth with that. We would hate it as players to keep stopping and starting. You know, what you do is you do your pre-season, then you build your way up. They're having to do that. They're having to do that 3 or 4 times a season, plus another big break coming up.
We've got 2 months off.
It's a long time. That's not good enough. Next season,
it's hard to get consistency and continuity. Yeah. Let's have a look. They're up against Al Gharafa, who in week 12 got a good win, of course, against Qatar Sports Club. It was 2 goals for Schneider, 1 from the penalty spot. It was, of course, the game that he was red carded. That's been reversed. He apologised for his rant via Twitter. He apologised it also in a live interview. And I think we've cleared that up now. I didn't bother running it in this show because we've moved on from that. You know, he wants to carry on. He wants to continue trying to make a difference for his team and helping football in Qatar.
I've done wrong on Twitter, and will I get let off? What I've done.
How many things have you got to apologise for?
What have you done wrong, Chris?
In life. Just put on Twitter, sorry for that. I think, no, that's it. I'm okay.
Well,
no, it's good to see him back, though, isn't it? Because they do look a different animal with him in the side, don't they?
Well, listen, it wasn't a red card. He was sent off. It was a very bad decision. You can see the heat of the moment. Never mind, he's in. But Christian Gorkov, their head coach, he has similar worries, I think, to Sami Trabelsi.
Each team hope to have the best player ready to play, but for us also Wesley Schneider missed 1 month. This is in the season. This arrive.
Okay, well that's in the past. Wesley Schneider's back now, of course, but they did miss him, and when he was away, things didn't go too well for him. Al Salia, Al Gharafa. Nick, you can go first.
2-2.
Another
no,
draw?
sorry, actually, I'm going to go against that. Sorry, I'll go I'll go for Salia 3-1.
3-1 Salia. Chris.
I'll go Garafa 2-1.
Okay, next up, Al Khor versus Al Duhail. Al Khor, they're still struggling, aren't they? Let's get some more information thanks to stats. Here it is, Al Khor, third highest counter-attacking team in the league. Diogo Costa, he's received the most direct passes in the league this season, 7.8 per game. I'm just pulling out very positive statistics from a team that are still down there. 8 points.
That's the buzzword this week, counter-attacking, isn't it?
Well, right, okay, but
You have to play counter-attacking because they're always back in their own half.
Listen, they're the third. Who's the top and who's the second?
Counter-attacking?
Who's the top counter-attacking side in
the
the
way
league?
they played recently will be Al Rayyan.
No, Al Sadd. Number 2?
Al Sadd. I would never describe Al Sadd as a counter-attacking
That's
side.
the figures that are given to me.
Who
Al Sadd,
gives you
number
the
1.
figures? And how's
Number 2. Stats give the figures.
Al
Al Sadd,
I've
number
got to
1.
have a word with someone. Al Sadd do not play a counter-attacking
Al
game
Sadd
of football.
and Al Duhail in second, Al Khor in third.
So everyone plays counter-attacking football now?
Pretty much,
do they?
yeah.
Right, OK. I need to have a word with your pal.
But I'll tell you what, with these, they have a big performance in them. They do that,
Yeah.
and everyone that's played against them, even though
we've
they've
seen
beaten
the odd
them.
one or two.
Well, this could be the one when you get the big performance. You know,
I've got to go back to it, sorry. Al Sadd and Al Duhail, yeah? They're the two most dominant sides in this league, right? They normally rack up about 600, 700 passes in a game. That is possession, maintenance possession, dominated.
But also we focus. if I'm not wrong, we often focus on the back to front, how they do it quicker than anybody else. That, in my book, is counter-attacking. That means when you pick up the ball in your own half, and you counter-attack.
Al Sadd, Al Duhail, the most shots, most crosses, most passes. It's not counter-attacking football, believe you me.
It is. No, not when they're crossing and things like that, but they are the highest 1 and 2. I knew this would cause a problem. We'll get Martin Bland back here from stats. He can put the boys to rest. Right. Let's get rid of the stats there then. Come on in. Let's get rid of Al Khor.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. No, because there's a little attitude thing from the last game which you picked out. It's Al Bariki. He let Salah in on the goal, and again, there's a big fault here. But this attitude's wrong, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, what it is, it is a handball. But straight away as it's a handball, he turns around to the referee, get the job done, get rid of the ball. Don't let him get his shot in. Just watch Al Bariki. You'll see it better. You can't see it so much now. Obviously, watch him here now. There's a handball. I think I'll have a word with the referee, and the referee will give me the decision. He didn't give the decision, ends up in the back of the net. These are little things which they have been creeping in, but you've got to be professional. You've got to wait until that whistle blows there, and he paid the price. But by the way, well done, Salah. Giving him a little bit of stick as well.
Absolutely.
But he got the goal.
We'll focus on him just a little bit, and we'll see that goal again. Let's have a look at who they're up against. They're up against Al Duhail, of course. Well, we know what they do. They win. They're unbeaten again this season. The negative is you touched on it earlier. They've had an injury now to Namtehi in the international break, playing for South Korea, which is a huge blow. He's going to be out for a long time as well, so he's going to miss the AFC Champions League group stages. It's one of the most consistent players, if not the.
Probably been alongside Sabata, the best player in this football league since I've been here. Hopefully, Masatni will be back soon, won't it?
Yeah, we're still
now. Hopefully,
imminent. Yeah.
But you hit the nail on the head. They just know how to win, don't they, Duhail? And then that run of form now, they started scoring goals, and it's the second part of the season when they normally get better.
I think win these next games now up to the break, and obviously beating Al Sadd, it's yours, it's all theirs, and it's all what's that in the space of 4 or 5 weeks now. It can be all theirs. This is what they do best, and it's about Al Sadd. They've got to win the big game at the end.
Okay, Namtehi is a big loss, but in Ed Milson Jr. this season, bringing him in, both of you picked out, some of his positive aspects of play from this game. I mean, he really has been a fantastic addition.
Right from day one, he's just settled into the football club. I can't remember a player coming into such a big team and settling down so quick. And some of the football he's playing is wonderful. And, we're talking about Masakni. Have they really missed him? I mean, he scored 25 goals last year. That is a big miss, but he's just gone into that position, hasn't he, Nick? And He's one of those players that I love watching because he's so exciting. He can beat a full-back or beat an opposition defender, and he makes it look easy.
The only other thing as well there is, and I mean, we're watching him now, he's wonderful. This is all about the run, what he makes off. He's right out on the right-hand side. We were talking before about Montari. You know, you might see it again now. I mean, there he is right out in the distance. He's saying to himself, I'm going to go and get myself a goal there now. He's watching it, he's watching the play, he's making sure he's onside as well, and you get the rewards for it as well. But just going back to Namti, I'm gutted about him, not having him. I so much enjoy watching him play, and it'd be interesting to see De Gea without him as well. So it's, yeah, I'm going to miss him.
Well, being as we're on you, why don't you have another go first this time? Al Khor versus Al De Gea, Nick.
No, not a chance at all. 3-1.
Okay.
3-1, it's De Gea.
I'll go 4-0.
4-0, okay. Finally, and we'll be covering this one in English. Al Arabi versus Al Sadd. Well, there's been a rot there at Al Arabi, and in week 12, Chris, it was stopped. Let's see it again. We just saw it now.
Yeah.
A fabulous goal. Yes, you can question handball, but my goodness, 1-0. But it was a big 3 points for an Al Arabi side who'd lost 4 or 5 in a row.
Absolutely massive, and if Salah can, I mean, this chance wasn't the easiest. He had so many easy chances lately. If he can start scoring some of the chances that he's had, they should be okay, Al Arabi. Well, that was a fantastic win, and they needed it. Just a little bit of breathing space for them.
They should be okay, but of course they're up against Al Sadd. The last time they met earlier in the season, Al Sadd put 10 past them. Is that still on their minds? This is what Hatem Adeb, their head coach, had to say.
I think it was an accident, this game, and we try to forget those mistakes that the team made in the first leg. So we try to forget this game, to be more positive, to try to build new mentality after Al Khor game, after the 3 important points. So we try to forget this game and to go more positive to affront the Sadd team.
Certainly hope so. They'll need to be a bit more positive.
Rodri, just first, that wasn't an accident, by the way, the game. It was not. It was an they absolutely pulverised them all over.
Yeah.
Now, they won't be sleeping very well the night before the game, Al Arabi. This is a huge game. They owe it to their fans as well. And I'll tell you something, that first 5, 10, 15 minutes is going to be nervy if Al Sadd start getting hold of possession. So it's going to be interesting about their attitude, about showing a little bit of fight, because they got absolutely destroyed in the last game.
Let's have a look what Al Sadd did most recently.
Let's have it right, Chris.
In week
that was emotional,
12.
that.
And,
they've got to show a bit of fight in this one.
Look, Al Sadd are sort of coming off that kind of form. Not 10, but it was 7 against Al Kharetiat. We can, we'll just keep talking, going over these. We'll see the goals going in, but it's your usual suspects. You know, Ahmed Ishmael scoring a good one. Bunja, very much part of it. Akram Afif is on form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you think Al Sadd are at the moment? Obviously, you're going to say secondly, but they've got to make a move in this next, is it the next month, next 4 rounds?
Well, they do, and of course, as we keep highlighting, the key match then is Al De Gea on December the 11th. That will mean whether we're in for an exciting...
But you don't want to go into this 2-month break. You don't, and then coming back, you've only got 6. You've got 6 games to wrestle the title away from Al De Gea. You can't rely on those 6 games, can you? So they've got to win every game in this next 4 games, haven't they? Including De Gea, to have any chance.
Yes, but they have the squad to do that.
Xavi's out though, isn't he?
Yeah, but that's obviously a miss. But they can do it the way they're brushing teams to a side. Yeah. There's no reason. But just what Chris said, the bottom line is you have to win every game, and that is it. That's how tight.
But I mean, making a move, it's that De Gea game, isn't it? It's just crucial.
Yeah.
It's more or less a build-up to that game now, isn't it?
One aspect of their game that you've enjoyed, both of you picked it out. Chris, talk us through it. Is Hamid at right back.
Yeah, he's wonderful, modern day full-back. Well, they've got both, haven't they? Abdul Karim and Hamid Ismail on this right-hand side. And this is what you've got to do as a modern day full-back. You've got to get forward. And this is a wonderful cross right on the penny for Bunja, and he just heads over. But it gives you... He's had a great season, hasn't he? He's done really well this year, Hamid.
He's one of the... I always remember when Roy Keane, at a certain point in Manchester United, he came back and he was in really good condition. And that's when he really accelerated and drove Manchester United forward. He's come back and he's in totally different shape. You know, he's athletic, he's really mature. Look at him getting into the box there now. I mean, this is what you have to do if you're going to play at a high level and be the modern day fullback, as Chris said. This is a good example, you know, just turning defence into attack.
like 80-yard runs all the time, isn't it?
I mean, just look at this here, but carrying on and getting there, powerful, strong runs in. He's been really impressive because we were only ever talking about Abdul Karim on the left. All of a sudden, they've sorted out on the right-hand side.
Okay, Chris, you can go first this time. Al Arabi versus Al Sadd in week 13.
It's got to be Al Sadd. 3-1.
3-1.
5-0.
5-0. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Let's go back to Shadin Wadden and once again see how they stand going into week 13 and the lineup.
Going into week 13, Al Dahail are 8 points clear at the top of the QMB Stars League. It's then very tight between Al Sadd, Al Saliya and Al Rayyan in the top 4. Al Ahli's 5-match unbeaten run has moved them up into 5th, and Al Gharrafa make up the top half of the table. In the bottom half, Slal are in 7th, Al Arabi have recovered 1 place to move up to 8th, Al Shahaniya and Qatar Sports Club remain outside of the relegation zone, whereas Al Khor and Al Khratiyat continue to face a big challenge. As for the fixtures, on Friday the 23rd of November, Qatar Sports Club are up against Al Ahli at 1600, and later on, Slal face Al Rayyan and Al Khratiyat face Al Shahaniya both at 1830. On Saturday the 24th of November, for the early kickoff, Al Saliya meet Al Gharrafa and Al Khor meet Al Dahail. Later on, the Qatar derby between Al Arabi and Al Sadd kicks off at 1830 Doha time at the Grand Hamad Stadium.
Okay, thank you very much, Shadin Wadden. From Nick, Chris and myself, we're all set for week 13. Bye for now.